Welcome back to Salty Country. Welcome back to Salty Country. This is part 2 of us grading around the shed, putting in another parking space. So I got stone coming tomorrow. So we're going to continue with the grading with the excavator, cutting this out so I can get the T300 in here and fine tune it, get some rock on it. Alright, so it looks like the chickens are out here competing for space in my project. If they keep hanging out here, I'm going to have to put them to work. But anyway, they're doing what chickens do. Get myself backed up just a little bit. Reset. There we go. Alright, we're getting there. Let me ease back over in here and see if I can start working on my slope. So and I may end up doing this with the Bobcat. It'll probably be a little bit easier. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so I'm going to back up. Reset myself. Lots of crush and run in this from the previous driveway. We previously lived in the house where my son lives next door. This was a horse pasture, cow pasture, goat pasture back here. And we bought the house 3 miles away from here and had it moved. It was an old farmhouse, and then we added 42 feet to it, added a garage, ended the living room, added another bedroom. But at the time, we just worked on this thing as we could. Every weekend we're out here doing something. And it took us 9 months. You know, we gutted this house completely. Had very little to no insulation in it. Insulated it. Had it rewired. New plumbing. Me and my son spent hours and hours under this house. I think it took us 2 days. We probably spent 20 hours, maybe 2 and part of a day on a weekend, getting all the water lines and the drain lines plumbed in. And I run my water line at the time from the road. We're about probably 300 or 400 feet from the road, but the route I took with the water line to get up here was somewhere between 500 and 600 feet. So at the time I rented a Mini X and dug in the water line myself. We're on city water, or I would say county water. We don't live in the city at all. We're county, so our other house had a well, so it's still got good water. My son, other than having well pump issues from time to time, that's the downside of having a well. At the most inconvenient times, the well pump goes out. So we put a new pump in his well about a year ago, I think. And we were out there. Of course, it's bad timing in the winter. It's cold weather. And we're working on a well pump. So I think the last time we did his well pump, we put new PVC pipe and a foot valve all the way to the bottom. That well has somewhere around 28 to 32 feet of water in it every time I've measured it. We've had several years back when we lived over there, we had a drought. It was dry. And I think it was 24 or 26 feet of water was still in that well. So it's never went dry. I'm not going to mess with this grade right in here a whole lot. It's kind of going to blend out. I can dress it up. gonna start flipping this pile a little bit. Getting it back here closer. So I won't have to move it as far. Yeah, one thing out here you have to be aware, there are snakes, and I've only seen one snake this year, and he was about 6 inches long. When I was mowing grass last weekend. But in the country, you just don't go up to something and pick it up and willy-nilly not pay attention to what's under it. Because sometimes you're going to get a surprise. Over by our garage door, it's been 2 or 3 years ago, I had a 5-gallon bucket sitting by the garage door that I had to use when I was washing vehicles. And I went over there. The bucket was sitting on like a board, just barely on a board. And so I was out there one Saturday cleaning up, and I was like, I need to get this bucket moved somewhere else. Picked that bucket up, and there was a snake under that bucket that was as big around him. It was coiled up, and the entire bottom of a 5-gallon bucket size was a black snake coiled up, and he was just small enough he could hide his whole body under that thing. So you definitely pay attention. Now, most of the snakes we have out here, 99% of them that we run into or encounter are not poisonous. You're going to get a black racer or a rat snake or something like that, a garter snake. I don't like snakes, but I don't kill the non-poisonous ones because of the benefit of them eating various rodents, rats, and whatever. Plus we have a couple farm cats that stay outside, and outside I mean they live in the garage at night, and there's a way that they can get out if they want to go outside. So they come and go as they please in and out of the garage. And yeah, we feed them, but they still get out and hunt, especially this time of year. They'll bring in a bird sometimes, or a chipmunk, or something like that. Every once in a while, a baby squirrel. Yeah, I'm just going to get this dirt kind of flipped around behind me so I can kind of see what I got here. I may get the T300 out. Go ahead and fine tune this. before the rain comes in, so it won't be holding water. One thing with the excavator you got to be careful of when you dig over your side. For the most part, they size these things with a bucket that will handle it. But if you're ever like really pulling on something that's probably more than the capacity, these things will pull themselves over. But it's got to take your time. You know, Home Depot and some of these stores, they rent Bobcats and excavators, which I think is a great thing. I've used them before. They're convenient. If you got something that you know you're going to take you a half a day or a day to do, it's very economical if you want to do it yourself versus paying several hundred or even thousands of dollars to do something. I think typically now this size machine, if you're doing a job, they're probably somewhere around $125 an hour for the machine and an operator. I can remember back 20 years ago in construction, you know, you could get a 210 track hoe and a man to operate it for that price. So I think those size machines now are somewhere up around the $500 to $750 an hour for the bigger excavators. But they do a lot of work. If you got a good operator, and the right piece of equipment, it's worth the money depending on what you're doing. A lot of people don't know how to run these machines good. The first way to tell if somebody knows what they're doing and they come up to you talking about equipment, if anybody ever tells you, though, I know how to drive that excavator, they don't know what they're doing. You don't drive equipment, you operate it. So if anybody ever tells you, oh, I can drive that, make sure you keep them off of it. But I will say this, if you rent one of these and you've never been on one, be careful. Use the seat belt. Take your time with the controls. Get your mind around what your left hand does and what your right hand does. And don't panic. If the machine does something crazy, the simple thing to do is just go, take your hands off. Hands and feet off of the controls, everything stops. So there's my safety advice for running equipment. No inputs to the controls, and they stop. Then you can sit there in your mind and ease whatever control one way or the other real gently to get the machine to set back on the tracks like it's supposed to be, or whatever the issue may be. Just take your time if you're not on these things all the time. It's gonna storm, so I need to get this buttoned up here pretty quick so I can get the 300 over here, which a little bit of rain, a little bit of water on it will not hurt it because it's so dry. It'll help it pack. North of us, the sky is dark, and east of us, it's dark. So I think this storm is going to actually, unless it just sits here and builds, gets bigger and bigger, I think it's going to miss us. But this time of year, they have a tendency to just sit in a spot and keep getting bigger and bigger. So you got to keep an eye on it for sure. I hate lightning, so if it starts lightning, I'm definitely stopping. The one thing in construction I've always hated, you got to respect it, it's electricity. I don't like something I can't see. And there's some good electricians I've worked with over the years. Actually, I will take that back. There's some great electricians. And they're good at what they do. But if I mess with electricity, I normally make sure I've killed either the entire house or take a tester and make sure what I'm working on has no power. This excavator cut through this hard dirt better than the tooth bucket on the 300. Yeah, maybe I won't have to move the gravel as far. I can call my truck driver and tell him dump it in the edge of the gravel on the driveway. So he's gonna bring it in the morning when I'm at my real job, and he'll probably be in here and gone sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. But this is not the best management of time on a piece of equipment. You know, typically you like to, if you're moving dirt, put it in a dump truck or have another piece of equipment that's immediately getting it out of your way as you go. So But when you're a one-man rodeo, this is what one-man rodeos do. I've been in the market for an older dump truck, farm dump truck. Eventually I'll run across another deal on them. Everything kind of got crazy. You know, vehicle prices are still crazy. As the subscribers will know, I recently bought a new truck, 2500. I saw some ads on social media, same dealership, because I kind of watched them and gauge what the vehicle prices are doing. So my truck is a 2023. When I bought my truck, the 2024s were out. I couldn't justify paying the extra money for the same truck, basically. Yeah, it had a little bit new features. I don't like to buy the first year of a new model running, and 24 was a new year model run for the Chevrolet 2500. So anyway, they went to a 10-speed transmission in the 24s, which I have to say I've heard great reviews on them. I don't haul stuff all the time, so I'm fine with the 6-speed transmission. But getting back to what started this, I was looking at the social media post from that dealership. A 2022 2500 with 20,000 miles is more expensive than my truck, than what I give for my 23. So used car prices are still crazy high. Alright, so I'm gonna ease up, get over this, and try to get this little bit right here put on the pile behind me. So see how I did that? So you don't just drive over something and slam onto the ground. Put your bucket down. You go over stuff smoothly. Looking back at the west now, it looks like we're going to get some rain. So I need to hurry up. Alright, I've got this in pretty good shape. I'm going to get the T300 out. I'll push this other dirt in the pile with a 300. I'm gonna position this thing so I can tell him where I want him to dump the dirt or the stone in the morning. I'll tell him I want him to drop it right in front of the excavator bucket. All right, here's what's coming. So, wind is picked up. Clouds are getting pretty dark. But I think we're on the edge of it. But it does seem like it's still just building. So, anyway, Melody's going to move her vehicle out of the way. I'm going to get the 300 out of the carport. We'll get out here and get this smoothed up. Get the pile out there, consolidate as much as I can. And this thing will be ready for some rock tomorrow. I may have to do a little bit of work with the slope tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have time this evening. But we'll see what the weather does. Alright, so we can get this thing smoothed up. What I'm going to do first, we'll try to get this slope cut out. That way I don't mess up what I just fine graded. Looks like the rain may get us here in a minute. We're going to go as long as we can. Some rock base here is when I had the driveway. Alright, the goal is just to get it close. I can fill in some of the imperfections of the rock. That looks pretty dang good. Put some rock on that. Won't be too steep to get in the shed. Alright, let's back drag this and see what it looks like. Gotta watch the carport. Ground is hard. Good thing about putting this rod on it now, they don't come with flood on this. Should hold up well. Have a good base. Try to get turned around here so don't mess this up. Great. Alright, I'm going to walk some of this in. The grade is pretty close, so it's close enough for right now. I can fine tune it later. This will get us through a rain event. But yeah, it's going. And you may go, well, why did you leave that grass? I'm gonna put the gravel right over the grass. Some of it may grow through, but I don't care. The grade's not right where that grass is, so I don't want to pick it out. It'll hold water under my stone. Okay, this is good for gravel. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for what I want to do. There's just a slight swell out there that still goes from the shed and goes around. I wanted it like that. This water that gets on this space here will drain out across the yard right here. So this spot's good, and then all that water that hits over there will drain around the building. That's going to be all for this episode. Remember, if you like our content, to subscribe. We kind of slowed down on video production for a while. Our subscribers have to increase. So if you like the content, make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends, share the video on your social media, but it'll all be greatly appreciated. Also, I'll give everyone a little bit of information. I said I was going to tell you, well, I got two things. So I was going to tell you how much I paid for the stone in this episode. $750 for one load. That's highway robbery. But anyway, so that's what I paid for the rock. So we'll see if anybody got it close in the previous episode in the comments. Another thing, we are about to start our own t-shirts. We're going to do some test run on our t-shirts. Our t-shirts are going to kind of be military style t-shirts. Of course I was in the military, so we're going to start out with the military style, the brown tan undershirt that we wore with our camouflage uniforms. It's going to be that type shirt with some of our Salty Country quotes and that kind of stuff on them. But we'll be sharing some of that and see what kind of interest folks have in t-shirts. We're going to do some tests on those, and you guys can give us feedback on which ones you like the best, and then we'll have to start making them. For the foreseeable future, we're going to make them ourselves, so it's going to be time consuming for us. But anyway, if you like the t-shirts, when we eventually get around to those, we'll be sharing those in future episodes. Let us know, and we'll make you one. And if you want a custom t-shirt, send me what you want custom, and we might be able to accommodate that along with our Salty Country quotes and Salty Country stuff on our shirts. But anyway, that's all I got for this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.